Get him out before he scares real customers. Sir, please step toward the door. I'm standing exactly where I was invited to wait.
People like you misunderstand what this room is for. People like me? Unverified walk-ins. Then verify me. Mr. Hale, should I wait?
This is a misunderstanding. No, this is exactly what he came to see.
I asked for dignity before I asked for records. I'll preserve the footage. Please don't let them take the box.
The security guard had already touched Marcus Reed's elbow when the CEO pointed at the glass doors and said, "Get him out before he scares real customers." Marcus stood in a faded denim jacket, holding a small silver watch box he had not opened in 20 years. Why did the quiet man refuse to show anger? Why did the young cashier suddenly stop breathing when she saw the initials on his old receipt? And why did the CFO run through the showroom minutes later, shouting words that turned every face pale? Before that door closed behind him, one insult was about to cost a luxury empire everything tonight. The glass doors clicked behind Marcus Reed, then paused as if the building was unsure whether to let him go. "Keep moving," Paul Mercer said, though the guard's hand loosened on Marcus's elbow. Marcus looked back through the showroom. Watches glowed beneath glass. Customers had stopped pretending to browse. A woman in a cream coat held her phone against her chest. Near the leather chairs, a man lowered his coffee until steam brushed his chin. Victor Hale stood at the central counter, jacket buttoned, silver hair perfect, one finger aimed at the exit. "This is what happens," he said, "when staff forget standards." Behind the register, Lily Grant kept her fingers near the old receipt. The paper was thin, curled at the edges, ink faded blue. Beneath the repair number, two initials sat inside a stamp. IR. "Sir," Lily said, "this has an archive code." Elaine Porter shut her tablet with a flat snap. "Lily." Marcus watched the silver watch box resting on black velvet inside the open case. "May I have that back?" Marcus asked. Victor gave a dry laugh. "After we confirm nothing was tampered with." The corridor behind Marcus smelled of floor polish and cold metal. A draft touched his wrists. He folded his hands because his thumb had begun rubbing the empty place where his father's watch used to sit. "I did not touch your inventory," Marcus said. "You touched my customer's experience," Victor replied. "That is enough." A murmur moved through the room and died fast. Outside, tires hissed on wet pavement. November dusk pressed blue against the glass. Marcus caught his reflection. Denim jacket, dark skin, gray beard, boots drying with Denver slush along the seams. The register chimed. Lily flinched. "Process the Vale order," Victor said. "I can, but this code—" "Now." She slid the receipt toward herself with two careful fingers. Paul cleared his throat. "Mr. Hale, do you want him outside or just off the floor?" Victor's eyes narrowed. "Outside. If he refuses, call building security." Marcus turned to Paul. The guard's wedding ring was scratched dull. He looked at Marcus's sleeve, not his face. "I'll walk," Marcus said. The first door opened. Cold air brought rain from the lobby. Marcus took one step. Behind him, something clicked against glass. The silver box had shifted. Samuel Ortiz, the elderly watchmaker in a brown apron, stood at the workshop entrance with a loop clipped to his glasses. His gaze moved from the box to the receipt beneath Lily's hand. "Wait," Samuel said. Victor did not turn. "Not now." Samuel stepped onto the marble. "Where did you get that box?" For the first time, Marcus's shoulder moved, just enough for Paul to feel it through the jacket. "It was my father's," Marcus said. Lily looked at the initials again, then at Marcus, and something in her face changed before she had a name for it. Beyond the glass, an elevator bell rang. a black woman in a dark business coat stepped into the lobby, clutching a thick folder. She saw Marcus at the threshold and raised one hand as if she could hold the room still. The doors began closing, drawing a line between Marcus and the room. The woman broke into a run, and the folder flashed a red label under the lobby lights. Reed Meridian Capital. At 7:12 that morning, Marcus Reed sat in a rented sedan 2 blocks from Aurelian and Company, waiting for the heater to loosen the cold from his fingers. Rain tapped the windshield. On the passenger seat lay a manila envelope and the small silver watch box. Its corners had gone dull. One hinge gave the same thin squeak he had known since he was 15. His phone lit up. Naomi Ellis. Final review at 4 o'clock. Legal wants confirmation on culture procedures before signatures. Marcus rested his thumb on the lid. Don't let rich rooms teach you to become small, Isaiah Reed had told him once, in a repair shop that smelled of oil and wet coats. If they make you prove you're human, leave. If you can, change the room for the next person. The box was empty now. The watch had been left with Aurelian 20 years earlier for a restoration that never came back documented. Reed Meridian Capital was about to invest $300 million. Auditors had read the books. Lawyers had read the contracts. Marcus wanted to see what reports never showed: how people breathed when a quiet man in old boots walked in. A second message appeared. Adrian Cole. Victor Hale confirmed today's VIP walkthrough. He does not know you're coming. Marcus typed, "Observe unless staff are at risk." Adrian answered, "Understood. Naomi hates this plan." At 8:03, Marcus stepped from the car. The cold moved through his denim jacket. He had chosen it with clean old jeans and boots that had crossed warehouse floors. No driver, no watch, no assistant, just the box. Inside the closed showroom, employees arranged velvet trays. A young woman with a blonde ponytail balanced receipts against her hip, while an older woman in a black blazer pointed at the entrance mat. His phone rang. "Marcus," Naomi said, "please tell me you are not outside the store." "I'm outside the store." "You are the lead investor in a 9-figure deal, not a mystery shopper." "That is why I'm here. If someone treats you badly, then we learn before we sign." Naomi's breath scraped the line. "Your father would have hated this." "No," Marcus said. "He would have understood the part I don't like." "Keep your phone on." "I will." You always say that before doing the opposite. At 10:01, the doors unlocked with a soft electric release. Warm air rolled out, carrying leather, citrus cleaner, and polished wood. The floor returned his reflection: dark skin, gray beard, old boots, a box held in both hands. Marcus stepped in. For 1 full second, no one moved toward him. Then the young cashier started around the counter. "Lily," the woman in black said, "stay at register." Lily stopped so sharply that the receipts slid from her hip and scattered across the marble. Marcus bent first. "I've got them." One slip stuck to a damp mark from his boot. Lily knelt across from him, cheeks flushed. "Thank you," she whispered. "You're welcome." The woman finally looked at him, from jacket to boots to silver box. "Can we help you with something?" Marcus placed the receipts on the counter. "Yes," he said. "I'd like to speak with someone about a watch that belonged to my father." Behind the glass, dozens of polished faces ticked in perfect rows, and none of them was set to the same time. "A watch that belonged to your father," Elaine Porter repeated, as if the words had tracked rain across her floor. She stood behind the counter, black blazer exact, name pin straight. Marcus saw his old boots reflected beneath the watches, dark shapes on polished marble. Yes, he said. It was left here for restoration years ago. Do you have an appointment? No. Lily looked up from the receipts. We can check archive if he has a claim number. Elaine did not turn. The archive is not for walk-ins. Warm air pressed against Marcus's damp jacket. The store smelled of cedar and cleaner. He held the silver box at waist level, thumb on the dull patch his father had worn into the lid. A consultant in a navy suit approached with a tablet, sandy hair neat, smile narrow. Everything okay, Elaine? Mr. Lowell, prepare the blue room. Brent glanced at Marcus's boots. Of course. Marcus set the box on the counter. The hinge gave its thin squeak. I need someone to confirm if this matches your repair records. Elaine's smile arrived late. Sir, we cannot open an inquiry every time someone brings in an old box. Then, tell me the policy. We serve verified clients. I am asking to be verified. Brent laughed under his breath. The door chimed, and a woman in a cream coat entered with a wet umbrella. Lily said, I can start with the cereal range. Lily, Elaine warned. The cashier lowered her eyes. Her thumb hovered above a key she did not press. Elaine lifted the box with 2 fingers. This is not a current case. It is 20 years old. And the watch? My father never got it back. Only Lily stopped moving. You're alleging theft? Brent asked. No. I'm asking a question. Those are different until they aren't. Marcus looked at him. Then keep them different. Rain ticked against the glass. Elaine placed the box down, farther from him. Do you have identification? I have the receipt in my car. Customer service can give you an email, Brent said. I came because emails get lost. Not when they come from the right people. Behind a frosted rear door, a machine buzzed. Then tools clicked. Marcus turned. Is that the repair room? Elaine stepped sideways. Private area. The woman in the cream coat drifted closer. Elaine, is there a security issue? No problem, Mrs. Vale. Marcus picked up the box. Its cold edge pressed a line into his palm. I'll wait. For what? Brent asked. For someone who knows the records. Elaine's smile disappeared. You may wait outside. Lily raised her head. Ma'am, if he has a receipt. He said it's in his car. I can ask him to bring it in. Your register is open. The words landed like a hand on Lily's shoulder. She stepped back. Marcus saw the motion. Practiced. Quiet. Made before anyone had to ask twice. He moved toward travel clocks. I'll stand here. That area is reserved, Elaine said. No one is using it. It is still reserved. Brent tapped his tablet. Sir, this store is not a public lobby. Marcus nodded. Around him, Aurelian's clocks ticked from polished cases. None matched. Lily glanced at the rain marks from his boots, then at the box in his hands. Before she looked away, she whispered, Bring the receipt. At 11:18 a.m., the elevator bell opened like a warning. Victor Hale stepped into the showroom with 2 assistants behind him, dried despite the rain on the glass. Elaine straightened at the counter. Why is the front mat wet? Victor asked. Brent looked at Marcus's boots. Marcus had returned with the receipt in a clear sleeve. The silver box rested under one arm, cold against his ribs. Elaine said, We're handling it. Victor's eyes found Marcus, the sleeve, then the denim jacket. Handling what? A walk-in asking about an alleged repair from years ago, Brent said. 20, Marcus corrected. Victor turned slowly. Excuse me? 20 years. Soft piano music failed to cover the rain. Mrs. Vale watched over her sparkling water. Victor smiled at her. Vivian, forgive the interruption. Some people mistake atmosphere for access. I'm asking for a record, Marcus said. "Records are for clients. I have a receipt." Victor held out his hand. Marcus offered the sleeve. Victor did not take it. Elaine accepted it instead. "Read it," Marcus said. Her thumb stopped beside the internal stamp. Brent leaned in. "Could be anything. It has your company name." Aurelian does not function as an archive desk for anyone carrying sentimental paper, Victor said. The word landed on the box in Marcus's hand. Marcus set it on the counter. "My father worked nights after his first business failed. He bought this watch used. When it stopped, he brought it here because your founder once promised him service. He died before anyone returned it." Mrs. Vale's glass lowered. Victor's expression softened into something worse than anger. "That is touching. It is also not proof. I asked you to check. Mr. Reed." The name moved nowhere. "Not yet." Victor looked at Elaine. "Do we have a Marcus Reed in today's appointments?" "No." "Purchase history?" "Not in the client portal." Victor nodded. "Then we're done." Lily spoke before she could stop herself. "Sir, the stamp is old archive format. Mr. Ortiz would know." Victor's head turned. "What did you say?" "I only meant Samuel has been here longer, and he—" "Your register is not a courtroom." Marcus took the sleeve back. The plastic rasped against his skin. Victor stepped closer. "Leave your contact information with customer service." "I already did that twice." "Then do it a third time somewhere else." No one spoke. Marcus looked around once. Victor mistook the glance for weakness. "Paul," he called toward the entrance. "Come here." The security guard appeared from the lobby alcove. Marcus placed the receipt inside his coat. "I'm still waiting for a policy answer." Victor buttoned his suit jacket. "The policy is simple. We protect our clients from disruption." "I have not raised my voice." "No. You made everyone else lower theirs." Paul stopped beside Marcus. "Sir." Marcus looked at the guard's hand before it touched him. "Are you asking me to leave or ordering me?" Victor answered for him. "I'm protecting the dignity of this room." Marcus lifted the silver box. "Then protect that too," he said, placing it gently on the black velvet. "It belonged to a client before you decided what one looked like." Victor's smile vanished. "Escort him out." The receipt looked smaller under Elaine's counterlight. Lily could see the paper fibers lifting where age and rain had softened them. The ink had faded, but the stamp was clear below the repair number. A UR-17B/IR. "That stamp is not in our current system," Elaine said. "It wouldn't be," Marcus answered. "Your current system didn't exist." Brent leaned close enough to crowd him. "Convenient." Marcus kept his eyes on Elaine. "May I speak to whoever handled archived repairs?" "No one is available." From the workshop came a metallic tick, then the whir of a polishing wheel. Lily glanced at the frosted door. "Samuel is here," she said. Elaine's mouth tightened. "Lily, process Mrs. Vale's adjustment." "I already did." "Then check it again." Brent picked up the receipt by one corner. "Mr. Reed, you know how many people walk in with old papers and stories?" Marcus reached out. "Give it back." "I'm only looking." "You're bending it." The showroom held still. Rain whispered along the windows. Victor watched from the blue room. "If it is real, gentle handling won't hurt it." "It is not yours to test," Marcus said. Brent lowered the paper with a soft slap. "There. Safe." Lily saw Marcus's fingers close once, then open. "I need that copied," Elaine said. "No," Marcus replied. Victor laughed. "You demand our records, then refuse procedure?" "Your procedure began after you decided I didn't belong here." Mrs. Vale stepped back. Her bracelet clicked against her glass. Elaine slid the receipt toward the scanner. Lily moved before thinking and put her hand flat on the counter, stopping it. The room turned toward her. "Ma'am," she said, voice thin. "The heat plate on that scanner curls old paper." Elaine looked at Lily's hand. "Remove it." Lily's palm stayed there. She could feel the receipt beneath one finger. Marcus turned to her. "Thank you." 2 words. No performance. They made her throat close. The frosted workshop door opened. Samuel Ortiz stepped out in a brown apron, gray hair combed back, loop clipped to his glasses. "What's going on?" Samuel asked. Elaine exhaled. "A customer inquiry." Samuel looked at Marcus, then at the box on the velvet. His face did not change until he saw the receipt. "Where did that come from?" "My father," Marcus said. Samuel wiped his hands on a cloth. "May I?" Marcus held the receipt out flat. Samuel did not take it. He bent over it. "A UR-17B," Samuel murmured. "Founder's Ledger. Special handling." Victor stepped closer. "Special handling does not mean valid claim." Samuel ignored him. His finger hovered above the initials. "IR," he said. "Isaiah Reed." Marcus's breath caught. Victor's voice cooled. "Samuel?" The old watchmaker straightened. "I remember the name." Brent laughed. "From 20 years ago?" "From a promise," Samuel said. Elaine reached for her tablet. "We'll review this later." "No," Marcus said. It was the smallest word he had spoken all morning, but it stopped her hand. Victor's phone vibrated. The screen lit with Naomi Ellis's name. He glanced at it, turned it face down. "Paul," Victor said, "we're finished here." Lily looked at the receipt, trembling in Marcus's hand, and, before anyone noticed, memorized the archive code. Victor's phone buzzed again while Paul stepped closer. The name on the screen glowed against the black glass. Naomi Ellis. Victor turned it over with 2 fingers, as if the call were a stain. Marcus saw the motion. He said nothing. Across the room, Lily typed the archive code into a blank return field. A soft error tone answered her. Elaine noticed. "Lily, I'm correcting Mrs. Vale's adjustment." Mrs. Vale opened her mouth, then closed it. Her umbrella dripped into the brass stand. Tick, tick, tick. At the counter, Samuel kept his hand near the receipt. "Victor, I need 5 minutes in the ledger room. You need to return to your bench. This predates the digital archive." "It predates most excuses in this building," Brent said. Samuel's jaw moved once. "Isaiah Reed brought it in after closing. He wore oil on his cuff." Marcus's thumb pressed into the silver box. "He always did," Victor cut in. "Enough. We are not holding a séance over a watch." His phone vibrated a 3rd time. Every face followed it. "Maybe you should answer," Marcus said. "Maybe you should leave before I involve corporate security." Outside, Naomi Ellis sat in a black sedan with rain threading the window. Her laptop balanced on her knees, the investment memorandum open. "He's not answering," she said. Terrence Brooks looked at her in the mirror. "Want me to circle?" "No, stay here." She called Marcus. It rang once, then went to silence. A message from Adrian Cole appeared. Aurelian Legal Resent Ethics Certification. Same language as last quarter. No dignity policy attached. Naomi's fingers stopped over the keyboard. Inside, Marcus felt his own phone vibrate. He knew Naomi's rhythm. 1 call, then 2, then a pause. He did not reach for it. Paul stood close enough that Marcus could smell cold wool and peppermint gum. "Sir," Paul said quietly, "I don't want this to become a scene." "It already is." "Then help me keep it small." "Small for whom?" The guard had no answer. His hand hovered near Marcus's elbow. Elaine slid the silver box back from the edge of the counter. We'll secure this until ownership is verified. No. Victor stepped between them. You abandoned it on our case. I placed it there so no one would say I concealed anything. You are making accusations again. I am making a record. Lily glanced at the ceiling camera. A tiny red light blinked above the blue room entrance. She opened her phone under the counter and typed, a UR-17B/IIR/Isaiah Reed/Marcus Reed. Her fingers shook so badly she typed Mercus first and erased it. Samuel saw and looked away on purpose. Victor's phone buzzed again. He rejected the call and shoved it into his jacket. In the sedan, Naomi watched the call fail. Rain blurred the showroom lights into gold lines. Terrence, she said, get me to the entrance. We're half a block away. Then don't wait for the light. Back inside, Victor's voice sharpened. Mr. Reed, this is your final opportunity to leave with dignity. Marcus looked at the box, then at the receipt in Samuel's careful hands. My dignity is not in your custody, he said. Paul's fingers closed around Marcus's elbow, and outside, through the rain-streaked glass, headlights swung toward the curb. Paul's fingers closed around Marcus's elbow. The grip was not cruel. That made it harder. Sir, please, Paul murmured, guiding him from the counter. Don't make me call the lobby team. Marcus looked at the silver box on the black velvet. Its lid sat slightly open, showing the pale imprint where his father's watch had rested for half his life. Elaine, he said, do not move that box. Elaine's hand froze. We have to secure disputed property. It is not disputed. Victor let out air. He believes anything he carries into a luxury house becomes protected by feelings. Lily stood behind the register with the old archive code hidden in a draft message. Mr. Hale, she said, if we let Samuel check. Victor snapped his eyes to her. One more word, and you can clock out permanently. Marcus moved his arm, testing Paul's hold. Do you understand what you're participating in? Paul swallowed. I'm following a direct instruction. So was everyone who watched. The woman in the cream coat lowered her eyes. Victor stepped closer until cologne cut through cedar polish. Do not perform morality in my showroom. Marcus turned to him. Then stop staging judgment in it. For 1 second, the music seemed to thin. Victor's cheek twitched. Remove him. Paul guided Marcus toward the doors. Behind him, Elaine reached for the box again. Marcus stopped. Paul's grip tightened. I said, Marcus spoke evenly, do not touch that with dirty hands. The words carried farther than a shout. Elaine pulled back as if the velvet had burned her. Brent barked a laugh. Dirty? You walk in tracking street water and call us dirty? Marcus's eyes stayed on the box. My father worked a loading dock until midnight, he said. He came home with hands no soap could fix. They were never dirty when they touched that watch. Samuel took 1 step forward. Victor. Back inside, Victor said. No. The refusal was barely louder than the ticking cases. Victor turned. Excuse me? Samuel removed the loop from his glasses and set it beside the receipt. I will not watch this again. Elaine whispered, Samuel, please. What does that mean? Marcus asked. Samuel looked at him, and the old man's mouth opened, but guilt closed it. Victor seized the pause. It means an employee near retirement has forgotten his place. Everyone here seems very concerned with place, Marcus said. Paul pulled him another step. The first automatic door opened. Cold lobby air rushed in, carrying wet concrete and exhaust. Lily's phone buzzed. A failed send notice. No service behind the counter. She looked at the doors, then at the receipt near Samuel's hand. Mrs. Vale finally spoke. "Victor, perhaps this is unnecessary." Victor did not look at her. "Vivian, this is exactly why standards exist." Marcus crossed into the lobby. The second door waited ahead, the city blurred beyond it. Paul released him halfway. "I'm sorry," the guard said under his breath. Marcus adjusted his sleeve where the man's fingers had creased the denim. Then remember what sorry feels like before the next order. Behind the showroom glass, Victor lifted the silver box. The hinge squeaked. Marcus turned sharply, but the doors had already begun to close between them. The corridor behind the showroom had no music. Marcus stood beneath a fluorescent tube that hummed as if it were tired. The wall at his back was gray, colder than it looked, and the chill came through his jacket. On the other side of the door, polished voices rose and fell. Paul Mercer kept one hand near his radio. "You can wait in the lobby," Paul said. "I can wait here. This is employee space. So was the room where my father's watch disappeared." Paul looked at the mat. It smelled of wet shoes and cleaner. "I don't know anything about that." "You know what you just saw." "I saw a customer refusing instruction." Marcus turned toward the ceiling camera. A red light blinked above the service door. "Then make sure that recording is preserved." "That's not my department." "It became your department when your hand touched my arm." Behind the door, Victor's voice cut through. "Put it in the safe. I am not letting him use a prop." Paul heard Marcus's fingers curl. "I'll ask them not to damage it." "Ask?" The guard flushed. Inside, Lily bent behind the register. Her phone had no signal. She slid it into her apron pocket and looked toward Samuel, near the workshop door with the receipt. Samuel did not move, but his thumb covered the stamp. Elaine carried the silver box toward the back counter. "I need the safe key." Brent laughed. "For a worthless box?" "Because Mr. Hale said secure it." Lily stepped out. "I can take Mrs. Vale to the blue room." Elaine frowned. "Why?" "Her adjustment is ready." Mrs. Vale understood. "Yes, I'd like that." The small shift opened a line. Lily stopped near the frosted workshop door. "Mr. Ortiz," she whispered. "My phone won't send." Samuel did not look at her. "Back office Wi-Fi reaches the parts cabinet." "Password?" "Founder's first year." Victor's shoes clicked behind them. "What are you two doing?" "Serving your client," Mrs. Vale said. In the corridor, Marcus closed his eyes for half a breath, enough to see his father turning the watch under a cheap lamp. "A promise only matters," Isaiah had said, "when nobody important is listening." The door opened. Elaine stood there, holding the box. "Mr. Reed, you may leave a phone number. Legal will contact you if there is anything to discuss." Marcus looked at her tight grip around the lid. "Set it down," he said. "No." Paul stepped between them. Elaine lifted her chin. "You are not authorized to remain on premises." "My receipt." "Being reviewed." "By whom?" "Appropriate staff." Samuel's voice came from behind her. "By me." The old watchmaker stood in the doorway, receipt flat in his palm. "And I am saying this code is real." Victor appeared over his shoulder. "You're saying it in a hallway." "Because you moved the man there." Quick heels struck stone in the lobby. An elevator bell rang. Paul's radio crackled. "Front desk to showroom security. There's a woman asking for Mr. Hale. Says it's urgent." Victor's expression tightened. Near the parts cabinet, Lily saw one bar of service. She sent the receipt photo, archive code, and one sentence to Naomi Ellis's email. "Please hurry. They are throwing Marcus Reed out." The message left with a whoosh, and Marcus watched the red camera light blink again. The message left Lily's phone with a soft whoosh. Then the screen went dark. She stayed by the parts cabinet, one hand on a drawer of brass screws, listening to Victor in the hallway. "Samuel, return that receipt to Ms. Porter." "No." The small word stopped the workshop. Samuel Ortiz stood under yellow light, apron dusted with lint, the receipt flat on his palm. His thick fingers held it like skin. Elaine blocked the doorway with the silver box against her chest. "You're making this worse." Samuel looked past her to Marcus. "I made it worse 20 years ago by saying nothing." Marcus did not step forward. The cold wall still touched his shoulders. "What did you see?" Victor cut in. "This is not a deposition." "No," Samuel said. "It's a repair ticket." He walked into the workshop. Lily followed. The room smelled of oil, old leather, and warm metal. Watch faces lay open under lamps. Against the far wall, a gray cabinet leaned slightly, its top drawer labeled Founder's Ledger. Samuel pulled a key from a chain around his neck. Brent appeared behind Victor. "You keep archives in a parts room?" "I keep what men like you throw away," Samuel said. The drawer scraped. He lifted out a black ledger. Marcus remained at the threshold. "Isaiah Reed," he said. Samuel opened the book. Pages whispered. November 14th, 2006. Special restoration. Founder authorization. I read. Lily leaned closer. "There's a note." Samuel read without touching the ink. "Client extended bridge financing during winter shortage. Full restoration at no charge. Personal promise, never deny service to Reed family." Elaine lowered the box. "Bridge financing?" "My father sold warehouse equipment to keep another business alive," Marcus said. "He told me they paid him back with respect. I thought he meant the watch." Victor's jaw tightened. "Old gratitude does not create present ownership." Samuel turned one page. "The watch was logged out to executive custody in 2011. No customer signature." "Who authorized it?" Lily asked. Samuel's thumb stopped beside blue ink. "Victor Hale, Interim Operations Director." Brent stopped smiling. Victor reached for the ledger. "That is company property." Samuel shut the book. "So is the truth inside it." Elaine whispered, "Victor, is this why the archive was sealed?" "Do not start guessing." Lily's phone buzzed. Naomi Ellis. "Who are you? Where is he now?" Lily typed with shaking thumbs. "Back corridor. They have the box. Ledger confirms Isaiah Reed." Naomi answered at once. "Keep him there. Do not let them destroy anything." Lily looked at the box in Elaine's arms. The lid had shifted open. Under the worn satin, a folded service tag had slipped free, no bigger than a postage stamp. "There's something under the lining," Lily said. Elaine pulled the box back. Victor's voice dropped. "Close it." Samuel stepped between them. "No. Open it on the bench." A siren wailed outside, faded into rain. Marcus held out his hand. "My father's box," he said. Elaine looked from Victor to Samuel, then to Lily, whose phone still glowed with Naomi's warning. Her fingers loosened around the tarnished silver. At the front of the store, the elevator bell rang again, and this time the sound came with running footsteps. Naomi Ellis crossed the lobby so fast, Terrence called after her with the umbrella closed in his hand. Her heels struck polished stone. The folder under her arm beat against her wrist. Through the glass wall, she saw Victor Hale in the service corridor, one hand half raised, his face arranged into public calm and private alarm. The receptionist stood. "Ma'am, do you have an appointment?" Naomi did not slow. "Tell Mr. Hale his investor has been detained by staff." Inside the workshop, Lily heard it and looked at Marcus. He had not moved toward the box. That restraint made Elaine's fingers shake harder. Victor stepped out first. Naomi, this is not the best moment. It became the best moment when you stopped answering your phone. We're resolving a customer matter. Naomi's gaze found Marcus against the gray wall. The fluorescent light cut tired lines across his face. His sleeve still held the crease from Paul's grip. "Mr. Reed," she said. The title changed the air. Paul straightened. Elaine's mouth opened, but no sound came out. Brent shifted behind Samuel. Victor gave a quick laugh. This gentleman did not identify himself. Marcus looked at him. "You never asked the right question." Naomi lifted the folder. Red labels covered the front. Reed Meridian Capital. Final investment review. $300 million. "This is Marcus Reed," she said, "founder and lead partner of Reed Meridian Capital, the man your board spent 6 months courting." Lily's hand went to the receipt. Elaine lowered the silver box until it touched the wood with a small, guilty tap. Victor's color changed to paper white. "There must be some misunderstanding." "There is a recording," Marcus said. Naomi turned to the camera. "Preserve it now." Paul reached for his radio, then stopped. "Now," Naomi repeated. He pressed the button. "Front desk, hold all showroom footage from 10 a.m. onward. Do not overwrite. Do not release access." Victor snapped. "Paul!" The guard did not lower the radio. "Copy that," came the answer. For the first time that morning, Victor had been interrupted, and nothing collapsed. "Lily Grant?" Naomi asked. Lily nodded. "Thank you for the email. I wasn't trying to cause trouble." "You tried to stop it." Samuel opened the ledger again. His finger rested beside Victor's old signature. Victor moved nearer. "That ledger is decades old. Context matters." "So does conduct today," Naomi said. "Both will be reviewed." Marcus walked to the bench and touched the box with 2 fingers. The hinge squeaked. Under the satin lining, the service tag lay folded and browned at the edge. Samuel lifted it with tweezers. The tag unfolded under the lamp. Customer note. Return to Isaiah Reed personally. Founder promise applies. Elaine turned away from Victor. Marcus read the words once, then looked toward the showroom where customers stood silent behind the glass. "Open the doors," he said. Victor swallowed. "Marcus, we can discuss this privately." "That was available before you ordered me out." The automatic doors slid open. Cold showroom air mixed with workshop oil and brass. Naomi stepped beside Marcus with the $300 million folder, and Victor followed them back toward the light like a man walking behind his own verdict. The automatic doors opened, and every conversation in the showroom died in the same breath. Marcus stepped out first. Naomi came beside him with the red-labeled folder against her chest. Victor followed with shoulders squared too sharply, as if posture could erase the hallway. Lily stood near the register, hands locked around the old receipt. Samuel carried the ledger. Elaine held the silver box with both palms, no longer like evidence, but like something fragile enough to accuse her. Naomi stopped at the center counter. "Mr. Hale," she said, "step back from Mr. Reed's property." Victor's smile twitched. "Naomi, we had an unidentified visitor making a claim." Marcus looked at the black velvet. "My box." Elaine set it down. The hinge gave its thin squeak. Marcus placed one hand over the lid. A woman near the entrance whispered, "Who is he?" Naomi turned. Marcus Reed, founder of Reed Meridian Capital, lead investor in the $300 million financing Aurelian requested. The words did not explode. They sank. Brent's tablet slipped against his belt. Paul lowered his radio. Elaine stared at Marcus's wet boot marks. Victor said, "There was no indication that the founder might enter without announcing his worth?" Naomi asked. Marcus lifted his eyes. "You had indications I was human." Lily's fingers tightened until the receipt buckled. Naomi opened the folder. The top page carried Victor's signature beneath client dignity and access assurance. "You certified equal service review standards." Victor reached for the page. Naomi kept her palm on it. "Do not touch my document." Several customers looked away. Victor lowered his hand. "We should move this to the conference room." "No," Marcus said. Naomi glanced at him once. "Then the facts stay here." Mr. Reed requested archival help. Staff questioned him, refused verification, tried to retain property, and ordered him removed. Victor's face hardened. "You are making conclusions from minutes." Samuel opened the ledger. The old spine cracked. 20 years is not minutes." He placed the book beside the folder. Lily stepped closer. "The codes match," she said. "A UR-17B. Isaiah Reed." Marcus opened the silver box. The service tag lay beneath the satin. "My father believed this company kept promises," he said. "I came to see if it still did." Victor swallowed. "Marcus, I apologize if it felt beneath our standard." "If?" Naomi said. Paul stepped forward. I touched his arm. "The footage will show that." Victor spun. "Paul?" The guard did not look at him. "It should show everything." Lily placed the receipt beside the ledger. Marcus closed the box while ticking cases filled the room. "I want the footage preserved," he said. "I want the ledger scanned. I want the box returned now. And everyone here should remember how quiet this room became." Naomi took out her phone. "Corporate legal is joining in 5 minutes." Victor leaned close. "You are risking the company over a misunderstanding." Marcus looked through the doors at rain on the lobby floor. "No," he said. "You risked it when you thought no one important was watching." Naomi's phone lit with a call from the board chair, and Victor stared at the name as if the glass itself had turned against him. Naomi's phone rang on the marble counter. Victor stared at the name until the old receipt trembled beside it. "Grace Whitman, board chair." Naomi answered on speaker. "Grace, I'm with Mr. Reed in the Denver showroom." "Is Victor present?" a clipped voice asked. "I'm here," Victor said. "We had a customer escalation that—" "Stop. Secure the conference room. No one leaves with records or archived material until legal joins." Marcus picked up the silver box. "This stays with me." At 12:04 p.m., they sat in the rear conference room. It smelled of espresso pods and leather. On the wall screen, footage paused on Marcus entering alone. Helen Park, corporate counsel, joined by video. "State names and roles," Helen said. "This is preservation review, not negotiation." Victor leaned forward. Mr. Reed did not identify himself as an investor. Marcus sat at the far end, the box before him. "I identified myself as a person asking for help." Naomi played the footage. Marcus bent to pick up Lily's fallen receipts. The camera had no mercy. Elaine's glance at his boots lasted longer than her greeting. Brent's laugh had no sound, but his shoulders gave it away. The recording moved to Victor entering, smiling toward Mrs. Vale, then refusing to take the receipt. "Some people mistake atmosphere for access," Victor's recorded voice said. No one moved. Marcus opened the box. The hinge squeaked once. Helen looked at Victor. "Did you say that?" "The phrase was poorly chosen." Samuel stood with the ledger. It was chosen before he spoke. Victor turned. "You are not qualified to interpret executive intent." "I am qualified to remember tone," Samuel said. Naomi advanced the video. Paul's hand appeared on Marcus's elbow. The camera caught Marcus looking at the box instead of the door. Elaine covered her mouth. Marcus watched, his right hand flat over the silver lid. "Pause there," Helen said. The image froze. Paul's fingers on denim, Victor's arm pointing outward, Lily behind the register with her lips parted. Grace's voice came through Naomi's phone. "That frame will be retained." Victor exhaled. "You are treating a store decision as misconduct." Naomi placed the $300 million folder beside the ledger. "A culture certificate signed by you is tied to financing conditions." Lily spoke softly. "He asked us not to touch the box." Everyone looked at her. "He said it belonged to his father. We still moved it." Elaine's hand dropped. "I moved it." Helen wrote something. "Why?" Elaine stared at the paused image. "Because Mr. Hale said secure it, and because I decided Mr. Reed was a problem." Brent whispered. "Elaine?" "No," she said. "I called it instinct. Shortcut thinking dressed as policy." Victor's chair scraped. "This is panic, not testimony." Marcus looked up. "Let her finish." Samuel opened the ledger. Old paper released a dry smell. "Isaiah Reed," he said. "Founder promise. Return personally. The watch left custody in 2011 under Victor's signature." Helen's face changed by almost nothing. "Mr. Hale?" Victor stared at the ink. "I authorized an inventory review," he said. "Where is the watch?" Marcus asked. Victor looked at the paused image instead of him, and the wall clock ticked into the space his answer should have filled. Victor looked at the paused image instead of Marcus, and the wall clock ticked into the space his answer should have filled. Grace Whitman's voice came through Naomi's phone. "Mr. Hale, where is Isaiah Reed's watch?" Victor folded his hands. "It was moved during historical inventory reconciliation." "That is not a location," Marcus said. Helen Park leaned toward her camera. "Answer plainly." "Executive collection storage," Victor said. Marcus touched the silver box. "My father's watch became a display piece." "No public display was ever made." "Because no one signed it out to you." Lily stood by the wall with the receipt sealed in plastic. Paul waited near the door, radio silent. Naomi slid a paper from the red folder. "Board policy requires a customer release for archival transfer. I don't see one." "There may be an older form." Samuel shook his head. "There isn't." Grace's voice sharpened. "Suspend showroom operations. Lionel Pierce will lead independent review. Send footage, ledger scans, and complaints tagged access or property handling." Victor looked up. "Grace, you are reacting in front of staff." "I am reacting to evidence." At 3:10, the emergency board session opened upstairs. Rain blurred Denver beyond the windows. Lionel Pierce joined from Chicago. Marcus sat without a tie. The watch box rested before him. Naomi sat to his right. Victor sat opposite them. Lionel played the footage with sound. "This is what happens when staff forget standards," Victor's recorded voice said. Brent lowered his head. Elaine held both hands in her lap. Lily watched the carpet until Marcus turned the receipt sleeve toward her. Lionel paused on Paul, touching Marcus's elbow. "Mr. Mercer, why did you comply?" Paul swallowed. "Because the CEO ordered it." "Was Mr. Reed threatening anyone?" "No." "Blocking exits?" "No." Paul glanced at Victor. "He was never asked in a way that mattered." Grace said, "Mr. Reed, what remedy are you seeking?" "It is about the room," Marcus said. He opened the silver box. "My father kept this beside rent receipts and spare keys. He believed a promise from this company meant something. Today, I watched your people protect glass and forget the person in front of it. Elaine's eyes filled. I want the watch located. I want Lily protected, Samuel heard under oath, and every access complaint reviewed by someone who does not report to Victor Hale. Lionel wrote. And the investment? Paused, Naomi said. Victor's face tightened. That hurts employees. Marcus closed the box gently. Then you should not have made dignity optional. Grace took a breath. Effective immediately, Victor Hale is placed on administrative leave. Elaine Porter is removed from floor management duties. Victor pushed back his chair. You cannot let one staged visit undo a company. Marcus looked at him. I did not stage your choices. A knock sounded. Helen's assistant entered with a sealed inventory printout. Lionel's proxy scanned the page and stopped. Lionel removed his glasses. Founder's Cabinet, Shelf 3. Item listed as unclaimed private acquisition. And the current holder? Naomi asked. The assistant's voice thinned. Assigned to Victor Hale's personal office display, pending valuation. By 8:30 the next morning, the showroom looked as if someone had taken the shine off it with a cloth. The doors were unlocked, but no music played. A notice stood on the counter. Operations paused for review. The marble held faint marks from yesterday's rain. Marcus arrived with the box in a bag. Naomi met him near the corridor. They found the watch, she said. Where? In Victor's office. Glass case. No customer tag. Is it damaged? Samuel is checking now. In the workshop, Samuel Ortiz sat beneath the old lamp with Isaiah Reed's watch open before him. The band was dull, the face clouded, but the hands rested at 10:17. Samuel did not look up. It can run. Marcus stopped at the bench. You're sure? I'm old, not decorative. Lily stood beside training binders, her name pin crooked. Naomi opened her folder. The board accepted your conditions in principle. In principle is where companies hide until the noise passes. Then give them no hiding place. At 9:12, Grace Whitman joined by video with Lionel Pierce on another screen. Elaine sat at the far end of the table, no tablet, only a gray cardigan. Paul stood near the wall. Lily and Samuel had chairs this time. Grace began. Mr. Reed, the board is prepared to adopt a corrective plan. Marcus placed one page on the table. Not corrective. Binding. Naomi slid copies down the line. Independent complaint channel, Marcus said. Quarterly access audits. Service review for staff and executives. No property seizure without chain of custody. No client qualification based on appearance, dress, accent, or assumed income. Lily Grant leads the ethics desk. Samuel Ortiz controls archives until policy is written. Elaine looked at Lily. She reports to me? No, Naomi said. She reports to the review committee. Victor was not in the room. His absence sat there anyway. Paul cleared his throat. And security? Marcus turned to him. Every removal requires documented conduct, not discomfort. Guards may refuse biased orders without discipline. Paul nodded once. Grace asked, and the scholarship provision? Marcus opened the box. My father started with no door held open for him. I want scholarships for workers' children and first-generation retail staff moving into management. Lionel wrote quickly. Funded by? Aurelian funds half. Reed Meridian matches half if reports stay public. Naomi's pen paused. Samuel carried the restored watch in on a velvet pad. It needs service, he said, but the balance is moving. He said it before Marcus. A faint ticking rose under the vent. Marcus did not pick it up at once. He listened until everyone else heard it too. Elaine folded her hands. Mr. Reed, I cannot fix what I did yesterday. No, Marcus said. Her face tightened. But you can decide whether the next person meets a rule or a wall. Lily looked down at the binder. On its first page, someone had typed, "Open Door Standard." She crossed out standard with a pencil and wrote, "Promise." Marcus closed the box around the ticking watch. "Use that," he said. By noon, the policy went live, and the front doors opened again without music. Lily walked to the entrance, held it wide for an older man in a work coat, and asked, "How can we help you today?" 3 months later, Marcus Reed returned to Aurelian and Company at 9:05 on a clear February morning with the old silver box in his coat pocket. No driver waited outside. No assistant announced him. The glass doors opened with the same soft click, but the room beyond them did not rush to judge him. A training group stood near the entrance, while Lily Grant spoke beside a sign that read, "Open Door Promise." "Before you ask what someone can afford," Lily said, "ask what they need." A trainee raised his pen. "What if they don't explain?" "Then you do not make dignity the price of service." Marcus stopped near the travel clocks. Lily saw him and smiled. "Good morning, Mr. Reed." "Good morning, Miss Grant." Paul Mercer stood by the entrance in a gray safety blazer. He opened the door for an older man in a work coat, then stepped back without hovering. When he noticed Marcus, his shoulders tightened. "Mr. Reed." "Paul?" "I train the guards now," Paul said. "Different protocol." "Do they listen?" "Some do." He touched his radio, then let his hand fall. "The ones who don't watch the footage." Across the room, Elaine Porter arranged brochures. Her badge no longer said director. It said Client Access Coordinator. She saw Marcus, set the brochures down, and walked over with empty hands. "Mr. Reed," she said, "you're not on the calendar." "I don't have an appointment." For 1 second, the old room came back. Then Elaine moved aside. "Then, welcome in." Marcus looked at the space she had made. "Thank you." She lowered her voice. "Victor resigned after the board review. Lionel's report went public. 2 regional managers were removed. I was offered separation or retraining. And you chose retraining. I chose the option where I had to remember faces." Near the workshop, Samuel Ortiz emerged with his loop hanging from his neck. He carried Isaiah Reed's restored watch on a square of navy cloth. Its crystal was polished, but the small scratch near the two remained. "I left that mark," Samuel said. "Your father bumped it against the counter when he laughed." Marcus touched the edge of the cloth. "He laughed here?" "Once," Samuel said, "before we taught him not to." No one hurried past the pause. Lily brought over a museum card. Marcus read it through the new display glass. Isaiah Reed, local business owner, bridge lender, client, father. Marcus took the silver box from his pocket. The hinge squeaked, softer now. Samuel placed the watch inside the case, not as merchandise, not as evidence, but as a kept thing. The second hand moved. Behind Marcus, a trainee whispered, "Is that the investor?" Lily answered, "That is a customer." Later, on the sidewalk, Naomi handed him the oversight schedule. Quarterly audits, anonymous reporting, scholarship interviews, public summaries, no decorative language. "Still investing?" "Or," she asked. Marcus looked back through the glass. Paul held the door for a woman with a stroller. Elaine listened to a man in paint-spattered boots. Lily corrected a trainee without raising her voice. "For now," Marcus said. "Rooms change only if someone keeps checking the doors." Naomi folded the schedule. "Your father would have liked that." Marcus slipped the empty box into his coat pocket. For the first time in years, it felt light. Inside the showroom, under clean glass, Isaiah Reed's watch kept going. If this story stayed with you, share in the comments whether you have ever seen someone judged before they were truly heard. Sometimes one witness, one saved receipt, or one quiet refusal to look away can change more than a single room. Share this with someone who believes dignity should never depend on clothing, status, or the name on a bank account. And if you want more stories about justice, quiet strength, second chances, and real changes inside broken systems, subscribe and stay with us for the next one. The strongest people are not always the loudest in the room. Sometimes they are the ones still standing when the truth finally arrives.